Elyndor was a jewel suspended in the sky above Terra, radiant with its own inner flame. Its firmament shimmered with auroras, rivers of living color coursing endlessly across the heavens. The air was perfumed with blossoms that bloomed in rhythm with the tides, each petal trembling with divine resonance. The Velari, tall and luminous, walked among cities that were not built but grown. Towers rose from crystal roots, their walls alive with circuitry, pulsing in harmony with Elyndor's breath. Bridges of living vine glowed softly as they carried travelers across rivers of liquid light. Every home was a sanctuary, every street a garden, every machine a hymn woven into nature's fabric. The Velari did not conquer, they cultivated. Their lives were symphonies of growth, each orchard a temple, each harvest a prayer to their goddess. At the heart of Elyndor's perfection was Lunavera, goddess of fertility and abundance. She was not distant. She was present in every root, every tide, every pulse of the Velari's living veins. Her temples were orchards heavy with fruit, where worship was celebration. Her voice was the whisper of leaves, her touch the warmth of soil, her gaze the aurora itself, painting the skies in radiant hues. Each morning, the Velari gathered in unity. From child to sage, they stood together in orchards and crystal plazas. Their voices rose in chorus, a prayer to Lunavera. Their prayer was not words alone, it was action. Farmers offered the first fruits. Engineers tuned their living machines to hum with the forests. Children released blossoms into the air, each petal carrying a wish for peace. The entire moon vibrated with this ritual. Elyndor itself seemed to breathe with them, rivers glowing brighter, forests blooming anew, skies painted with radiant light. To outsiders, Elyndor would have seemed impossibly idyllic. But to the Velari, it was simply life, rhythm, prayer, celebration. No tyrants ruled, no wars scarred its soil, no hunger gnawed at its people. They believed themselves safe, sheltered by Lunavera's grace, far from the violence that scarred other realms. Elyndor was heaven made tangible. Yet peace is a veil. Shadows stirred beyond its edge. What once was light would soon be eclipsed. Dark days crept toward the Velari, unseen yet inevitable. Beneath the sanctum's calm, monsters gathered, hungering for ruin. It began with a single shadow. On a morning like any other, when the Velari sang their prayers, the skies rippled. From that wound fell creatures unlike any they had ever seen. The Nhar-Jul, a pack of 20, shards of carnage born of conflict. They landed in silence, then erupted in slaughter. The Velari, who had never known war, fell in waves before claws and maws that tore orchards and shattered crystal towers. The moon itself carried the cry, its living veins pulsing with alarm. For the first time, the Velari felt the sting of violence. Priests abandoned temples, weaving wards from Lunavera's blessings. Makeshift warriors armed themselves with tools of cultivation turned to weapons. Together, they fought, and though many died, they subdued the creatures. Bound in chains of vine and crystal, the Nhar-Jul snarled across Elyndor. That day was remembered as the first day blood was spilled upon their soil. It would not be the last. More sightings spread. Small groups appeared in forests, rivers, orchards. The Velari were slain in numbers, their peace shattered. Yet their harmony with nature proved enough to defend against scattered incursions. Living machines hummed with Lunavera's wards. Forests rose to strike back. Rivers drowned the beasts. For a time, Elyndor endured. The Velari mourned. Lunavera descended among them, radiant yet sorrowful. She sang a hymn of remembrance, woven into soil and stars. Her voice carried across the moon, a lament for every life lost, a promise their memory would never fade. But as she sang, something stirred. Guided by her, woodsmen traced the monster's path. Deep in the forests, they found it, a tear in reality, bleeding shadow and stench. From this wound, the Nhar-Zhul had come, slipping into Elyndor like predators into sanctuary. Lunavera gazed into the breach, her song faltering. She spoke a single omen. The veil is thinning. What comes will not be scattered, but endless. The day arrived, like the toll of a clock. The moon was quiet, deceptively serene. Children's laughter rang out, fragile against the silence pressing upon the priests. They felt it, an unease in their goddess's spirit, a tremor no prayer could soothe. The first omen was sent, the iron tang of blood drifting on the wind. Then, the moon quaked beneath the march of beasts. The breach split the heavens. From it poured the Nhar-Zhul, legions of bone and fury. Their bodies gleamed black as obsidian, their maws dripping ink-dark ichor. Eyeless, yet ravenous, their jaws bristled with jagged teeth. Some crawled, others unfurled vast wings. They fell like meteors, tearing at one another for the right to feast first. The Velari's cries rose in defiance, but temples crumbled beneath beasts that had never known mercy. The countdown had ended. The war had begun. But Lunavera rose. The goddess of abundance, radiant in sorrow, stepped forth. Her body glowed with harvest light, her hair flowing like rivers, her hands heavy with life itself. She was no warrior, but she was a god, and her people were dying. With a cry that shook the moon, she summoned roots from the soil, vines that lashed and strangled, blossoms that erupted into storms of pollen and flame. Rivers surged upward, drowning beasts in torrents of living water. The Nhar-Zhul fell before her, torn apart by the fury of a goddess defending her children. For a time, she prevailed. Legions were crushed beneath her power. Claws broke against her shield of light. Mauls snapped shut as vines strangled them. Hope flickered in her radiance. Then the void deepened. The breach widened, and a creature personifying Threxil itself descended. The sky tore open like flesh. From the wound poured shadow, flame, silence. He was vast enough that constellations vanished within his shadow, his horns piercing the firmament. His maw opened not to roar, but to consume. A spiral of teeth feasting not only on flesh, but on the source of violence itself. In Threxil, there are no kings, no gods, no peace, only war unending. A realm birthed from malice, woven from the scars of 1,000 realities. He had warred for eons, adapting beyond comprehension. No blade pierced him. No mind outwitted him. No rival endured, and so the realm bent. No longer confined to his realm, Karun Jurath stepped forth onto Elyndor as violence incarnate, his only purpose to sate the endless hunger of carnage. Lunavera stood her ground. She summoned forests that rose as walls of living wood, rivers that surged like spears, storms of blossoms that blinded his sight. She fought with everything she was, every harvest, every prayer, every breath of her people. But Karun Jurath did not falter. He tore through her forests as if they were twigs. He crushed her rivers beneath his steps. He swung his arms wide, blotting out the sun, shattering mountains. His roar silenced her song. The battle raged across the moon. Craters filled with blood. Forests burned. Oceans boiled. Lunavera struck again and again, her light dimming with each blow. Karun Jurath struck back, each swing a cataclysm. Finally, he seized her. His claws pierced her divine form. He slammed her into the soil until the ground split beneath her. Her radiance flickered, her essence scattering. She cried out, not in fear, but in sorrow, for her people, for her world, and in that cry lingered a vow that even swallowed, her essence would one day bloom again. Then Kondrashev devoured her in his endless maw, the maw that remains, opened wide, swallowing the goddess of fertility and abundance. Her light vanished into darkness. The Narjul descended upon the survivors, devouring the last of the Velari. Their feasting stained the moon blood red, rivers and orchards drowned in crimson. Her temples collapsed. Her people screamed and then fell silent. The Velari were no more. Their goddess was gone. Their moon was dead. And Kondrashev stood triumphant. The horror of Threxil had stepped forth into the mortal world. Elyndor was but the first bloom of ruin, and soon his gaze would fall upon Terra, not as a conqueror, not as a god, but as hunger incarnate, drawn not by ambition but by instinct. For where peace dares to flourish, the maw will come, and none shall stand against him. Not until the world births its answer, a brotherhood forged in defiance, warriors bound not by blood, but by purpose, chosen not by gods, but by the wound left in their wake. Only they shall challenge the hunger. Only they shall stand where the Velari fell, and in their stand the fate of Terra shall be written.